Hi, this is a continuation of episode 96. I did find my project bag that has the one thing that I've been working on. That is a half finished object. I do have a finished object. I finished my Jody shawl that I was using with some new Undead yarn bases, but I haven't blocked it yet, so I'm going to wait and show that when it's blocked. But you can go to Instagram if you want to see what colors I used. So I finished. This is the beginning of the year of Shorty Socks, and if you want to knit a pair of socks, that's fine, but I kind of wanted to knit a whole bunch of Shorty Socks because I have a lot of 50-gram skeins of balls of yarn that won't make a full pair of socks, but will make some Shorty Socks, and being that I live in Texas, I've got plenty of time to wear those kind of socks. So this is supposed to be a Rose City roller, although I'll tell you this part is not rolling as much as the other sock I made using this pattern, so I may have stopped a little bit too early. And this is in my Luna colorway, and this is in a new base that I have. It's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and I'm probably going to use this in place of the BFL sock base. I'm finding the BFL sock base to be very rough on my hands. I don't know if they switched the supplier or what it is, but I've not been thrilled about knitting with it, and if I'm not thrilled about knitting with it, I'm sure y'all are not either. So this is going to be the new base. This will be the new sturdy base that takes the place of the BFL sock yarn. This is an 80-20 merino and wool, and I'm really enjoying working with it. As you can see, it has a nice tight twist. So that is my beginning of my year of Shorty Socks. I have one done. I'm going to do the other one, and it's in a Silver Shed Studio bag. So that is the only finished object I have to show you guys. Actually, it's not even a finished object. It's a half-finished object. And what I'm going to cast on next is probably this. This is another new yarn base. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this one or not. This is a Polworth base, and it's not quite showing the color, depth of color in this photograph. It's got more of an orange tint to it than is showing up here, and a little bit of gold and brown. But I'm going to use this to make a cowl because it feels pretty nice against my skin. I'm either going to do the Star Shower cowl, or there was another cowl that's like a bandana looking cowl. I have a new red coat, and none of my accessories are going to match it because, you know, I make bright accessories. I can't really wear a pink scarf with a red coat, so I think this will look nice with that. And this is another base I'm playing with. I'm not sure if I'm going to carry the Yak Merino base that I used for the Jody shawl, but I really do want to use the 80-10-10 merino cashmere base that I picked. It was really nice to work with. I really like the way it dyes up, so I probably will be putting that in the shop. So that'll be another cashmere base. My last cashmere base was not as luscious. It didn't feel as luscious, and it didn't dye up as nicely as this one. But weeks in review. I guess at the beginning of December, maybe the first weekend, I think, there was an event at Hill Country Weavers. Carson Demers and Caitlin Hunter were both there teaching classes, and on Sunday they had a brunch with them. So it was a lot of fun. I got to go and hang out with my friends and do some yarn shopping and talk to Carson and talk to Caitlin, and also to another dyer who was there having a trunk show. She is called Farmer's Daughter Fibers, and I'm sure many of you have heard of her. And I was just drawn to this color, so I picked this one. It's got lots of different colors in it. It's kind of a speckle dye. I think she kind of specializes in speckle dyed. She had made one of those, I don't forget the name of the pattern, but you're seeing them everywhere. I think it's Sunset Highway. She had made one of the Sunset Highway Caitlin Hunter patterns with her yarn, and so it made use of a little bit of the solid, but mostly the speckled. So she does a lot of speckled yarn, and she said when I picked this one's called Cold Wash, and it's 100% superwash merino. She said there was a color that she dyed to go along with it, and they were kind of similar. So that's a nice thing to know, that sometimes dyers do that. They think about what colorways would go together. I also bought some skein yarn because I've never had any, and I really enjoy watching skein yarn, and it was on sale too. I'm so lucky because it's a 50 silk, 50 merino. Look at how pretty. But I enjoy watching her podcast. She seems like a really nice lady. This is actually a sport weight merino silk, and I don't think I've ever seen that base before. It's 363 yards and 50-50. So the yarn is very, very nice. It looks like it's been sitting around a little bit, so it got felted a little bit, which is probably why it's on sale, but I think it's still going to be great. I'll just take out my deep pillar. And I also found Chasing Rabbits Fiber Company. Apparently I think she's from Amarillo. And I just started seeing her stuff on Ravelry because my friends Anna and her husband, who are from Yarn Carnival Yarns, have started this thing called the Texas Fiber Company. And it's really to let people know that yes, we do knit in Texas, and yes, we use wool. It's not just cotton. We use everything. And there are a lot, I'll tell you, there are a lot of knitters in Texas, and there are a lot of dyers in Texas. This is another one, like I said. And you can't really see, you kind of can. There's more, yes, there is a gold tone on there. This is very pretty. But I think she's already hooked up with some designers, so I think although I hadn't heard of her, I guess a lot of people already have heard of Chasing Fibers. And she had a decent amount of her yarn at Hill Country Weavers. But yes, let me go back to my friends who have started the Texas, I believe it's called Texas Fiber Company. I have to look again. But their slogan is, "We knit in Texas, y'all," because they went to a show that was in the Northwest, and people there didn't seem to take to the yarn, and I don't understand that, because to me it doesn't matter where the yarn comes from as long as it's beautiful and it's wonderful to work with. But she said a lot of people were making comments about, oh, you don't know anything about knitting if you're from Texas because it's too hot there. So not true. And she also did some research and found out that Texas is one of the leading producers of fiber. So we have a lot of alpacas, sheep, there's even bison. I don't know if bison's here, but there are some bison companies that are in Texas. We have a lot of fiber in Texas, and we have several fiber mills too. So it is actually one of the bigger producers of fiber. So y'all, yes, we knit in Texas, and go check out Texas Fiber Company. Or if you are not able to find that, they're on Instagram, I know for sure. If you're not able to find that, I would look up Yarn Carnival, because she will definitely have links in her feed on Instagram to that account. And she's been promoting a lot of different indie dyers and mills and fiber artists, designers that are all from Texas. And she has an abundance to choose from. Here is another yarn that I bought. I just wanted to go ahead and show you all the things I got at Hill Country Weavers since I was just talking about them. And if you haven't been to Hill Country Weavers and you come to Austin, you need to go there. That is like the fiber mecca of Austin, Texas. Anyway, I'm not sure. This is from somewhere. I think somebody told me it might be from South America. I'm not sure. If anybody else knows, let me know. But I was just drawn to these colors, and I have never heard of this group or this fiber company, but it says it's locally hand-dyed, and it's called Earth is the name of the yarn company, and Unique Fingering is the name of the fingering. And I think it looks like the color is called Feza. But y'all, look at those beautiful rainbow colors. I was just drawn to the skein, and I looked at it. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And then I looked at the company. I was like, I hadn't heard of that one, but it looks like this is all superwash merino, so perfect for maybe a fun shawl. Like, I haven't made a hitchhiker. I probably wouldn't, because I'm not real big on those boomerang type shawls, like the side-to-side ones, but I don't know. It would be really great for something that works with a variegated yarn. Maybe another Raina. I love my Raina shawl. That was fun to knit. And the pattern, even though it's free, it's really amazingly well written. And my favorite part of that pattern, the person who wrote its name is Nick, and I know he's Mouse Army Co. on Instagram. But my favorite part of that pattern is at the end of the pattern, he has like a bunch of boxes so that you can mark down what you're doing, so you don't have to think while you're following the directions. That kind of is your counting. It's really cool. I love the pattern, and I will knit it again. And this I think would go great with that because it's a good pattern for variegated yarn. So after the party, the next thing I can think of that I did, because it's been a whole month, is the Happy You, one of the other yarn shops in Austin. This one's actually in Jonestown, and it's the one where I initially had my yarn. They had a Christmas party, and so I went there to hang out with them and my friends. And while I was there, I picked up this, and I guess it's from San Antonio. I have not heard of this, so I don't even know who does it, but I really like the color and the base. This is called Morningside Road Fiber. And I thought the colors were pretty, and so I picked it up, and the base was very interesting. It's 85% merino wool and 15% silk, mulberry silk, not just regular silk, mulberry silk. So I thought that was very interesting because I have not seen that either. The longer I get into dyeing, the more I'm interested in different bases and new bases. And I even have a collection of farm yarn I have not knit up yet, but I have it ready to go, that I want to knit the Fleece Flight by Ninja Chickens. I was actually there when she was designing it because she brought it to Into the Wool the year that I went, and she was designing it while we were hanging out. It was fun. Anyway, that is what I was doing. The only other thing I've done is we did go to Florida for Christmas, and we went to some bookshops. I ended up buying a bunch of books, and I met my goal for Goodreads this year. It was for 46 books, and I read 47. Or no, it was 45, and I read 47, so yay. And for the new year, my goal is going to be to read 50 books, which is kind of almost one a week, and I hadn't thought of that until I was talking to my mother-in-law about it. But I read pretty fast, and I think I can do it, because when I can't sleep at night, I go read. So I read whenever I can. I'm hoping that's my only real New Year's goal. I kind of picked out a word for myself for the year too, and my word is determination, because I am determined to continue podcasting and doing my yarn line. This year I will be at Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Festival, which is in April, and then in the summer, in June, I will be at the Houston Fiber Festival. So I am very excited about doing both. And I just paid for SSK. I paid for the whole thing at once. I probably should have budgeted a little better, but I just kind of wanted to get it out of the way, and I know, I'm going. And so I do have to pay for my booth for Houston soon. I did reduce some of my Christmas yarns in the shop, and most of them are gone. I think there's one sock blank maybe left, and it's down to $20. But watch my feed on Instagram and Twitter for another sale. I'm going to have a bigger sale starting on Monday. I have not, I kind of know what I'm going to do. I don't want to pin myself down, so I won't say exactly what it is, but it's going to be a pretty good percentage off, because I want to hopefully empty out the yarn shop so that I can put in, I have a ton of new stuff that I just have not put up because the other stuff is still in there, and I want to make sure I have enough for my shows coming up. But yeah, if y'all can help me out with that, it'd be great, because then it'll be easier for me to part with the money for my booth for Houston. Anyway, the Whip It Good knit along. It ended this month, and I'm very glad I did it, because it actually motivated me to get things done. I got, I think 4 or 5 things done that had been languishing for years, so that was really nice. But I do have 2 winners to tell you about. Do I have prizes in here? I do. The person who won this kit, which is the soap kit, it's to make a little bag for your soap, and it has some beads on it, so it's really cute, and it comes with the soap as well. It's a cotton yarn, and it's called Butterfly Dreams, and the winner of this is Christy Rose. Christy Rose, I know I've probably sent you something before, but if you could PM me and tell me you heard this and that you won and give me your address, I can send it off to you. And then the ruler, I don't know if I have the ruler in here. Yes, I do. Here's the ruler. I'm trying to be better about bringing everything down at once. This is the ruler, And I'm assuming it works like the other ruler that I have. I already have one, so this is the one we got at SSK. But the awesome thing about it is you always have your ruler with you. You can wear it on your wrist, or I think it also is big enough to wear as a choker if you want to wear it around your neck. But if you wear this, you will always have a tape measure with you because it's accurate. And so the person who won that was B-Wing, Brittany B-Wing, and I think that's the first time she's won in my group. So Brittany, PM me tell me you heard this and give me your address so I can send this off to you. So the new knit-along is going to be Shorty Socks knit-along. I am halfway through my first pair, and I think what I'm going to be doing, not for all of them because I do want to use some of my Patons Croy, but I'm going to do several in Fiber Nymph Dye Works because I have a lot of her yarn, and she has started, she's calling it an FDW Conversion Rewards Program. So once you knit up a certain amount, you get a free skein of yarn. And I think you can get either a skein of yarn or maybe 4 ounces of fiber. I am not exactly sure, so you might want to go check on her website to make sure that that's correct. But I have a lot of her yarn, and if you want to go to my Instagram feed, you can see I have a big pile. And I also found a braid of fiber. I'm actually surprised I only have 1 braid of fiber, so I might have to might have to convert after I've got my certain amount done. I might have to convert it to fiber because, you know, need fiber too. So anyway, that's my plan, one of my plans for the year besides doing the Shorty Socks. And I will be giving away a prize every month. For this first month, the prize is going to be 2 things. It's going to be this little pouch that I got from Tempted Yarns. It's a little pinup girl pouch. And it perfectly fits the spindle that I bought from, excuse me, that I bought from Daisy Knits. And the nice thing about this spindle is that you can have large whirl, or you can have a small whirl, and it's 3D printed. So you are able to use a big whirl or a small whirl with the same shaft. And I'm going to put all these things together. I have her card in here, Daisy Knits. So I'm going to put all these things together, and that will be the prize for the first month of Shorty Socks. Excuse me if you have headphones on. What I'm going to say is I do really want finished objects. Now, you can start your socks at any time. I don't care if it's something that you've started earlier. As long as you finish them during this year, during 2018, you can start your socks this month, and maybe you don't finish till February, then you'd put it in the February finished object thread. But Shorty Socks you could get done in a month, so you can post them in my thread. And I know there's a lot of other people who do sock knit-alongs, so even if you're not doing Shorty Socks, if you finish a pair of self-striping socks for the zombie Stockinette Zombie podcast, or I'm not sure if Kristen's still doing her box of socks knit-along, but if she's not, I'm sure somebody else is. So if you are knitting socks for anybody else, I also think the Knit Girls are doing an unofficial stripy sock knit-along. If you're knitting socks for anybody else, as long as they're okay with it, I'm okay with you putting it in my thread. I have no problem with that. I just want to see some Shorty Socks, and I will, as soon as I can get around to it, I'm going to post the thread, open the thread soon. But after that, I would like to figure out, I don't really know how to make a bundle yet, but I think this would be a good time to make a bundle and to have y'all let me know what are your favorite Shorty sock patterns. Because I don't want to, since they're short socks, I don't mind knitting a pattern in them. Some of mine I'm probably going to want to do a little pattern. I did with some Blue Moon Fiber Arts. At one point I did like a hatched pattern. I can't remember what the name of the sock pattern was called, but there are some Shorty socks out there that have patterns. So let me know what your favorite Shorty socks are, and go ahead and post them. I'll maybe make 2 threads. Maybe I'll write a suggestion thread and then a finished object thread. And in our suggestion thread, we can also have discussion, so that would be great. The first prize I will draw at the end of February, which will be probably about the next time that I do a podcast, unless something comes up and I decide to podcast before then. But anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody is happy and healthy, and I will talk to you later. So with that, I'm going to say get busy knitting or get busy dyeing.